Calling me Mickey. Well, that rah-rah never was the icon issue. Harper's Bazaar, I'm covering the icon issue. I got issues. Yeah, bitch, I got issues. W, Vogue, Cosmo, I got issues.
So you know what I'm mad about today?
What are you mad about today?
Well,
what's it today, Sandra? What's it this time?
I'm the problem child. Today, my biggest problem is going to have to be with tampontax. And a lot of you guys don't even care, and you probably don't even know what a tampontax is, but it's pretty straightforward.
When you say guys, do you mean the men or do you mean everyone?
I want to say guys, to be specific, but I also want to say everyone. But only because I can't say who knows or doesn't know, but I know majority of people don't really think that deep into a tampontax. Like, why are you worried about it? You swipe, if you have the money for it, you swipe it and you walk away, and that's it. It's just taxed to you. But if you do more research into it, you will actually realize that a lot of things that shouldn't be taxed are being taxed. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that should not be taxed, which is a necessity basically to women, is being taxed. So it makes, for me, I get angry about it because it makes me feel like I'm not important as a woman. And it makes me feel like whatever I'm going through is like just me. Yeah. Mind you, the world is basically 2/3 women, but for some reason we have to pay some extra just to be women, which is absurd. So today we're going to be going on. And of course, we're going to offer solutions and our ideas and, connections where you can find answers to the problem of tampon tax. But we want to touch on it because I know some of you guys might not even know or care of what tampon tax is. But think about this. When you go to the bathroom to use the toilet, do you have to pay somebody to wipe your butt with the toilet paper? I don't have to do that, do you?
No.
Does a man have to do that? Does anyone have to do that?
Well, actually, if you go clubbing
DC be like $12 for air.
You're supposed to tip the lady in the bathroom.
You are supposed to tip the lady. So you are paying.
Do the men have to do that?
I think.
Do the men have someone in there?
Do the men have the male bathroom person?
Okay.
You do?
Okay.
There's
a guy in
okay,
there.
So we have a man in here to confirm.
Okay, with the exception of that.
Right. So I don't know about y'all clubs, but like DC be like, look, you're not leaving here without, nuck if you buck $5.
Right. And if you don't give them the tip, you're not washing your hands.
You're not washing your hands, and they'll give you like a skim toilet for napkins. I'm like, damn, my hand's still wet, man. Can you spare a little more? So outside of that, it's like, I don't remember having to ever wipe my butt and be like, oh man, I got to put another quarter in to get another piece of toilet paper. But that's I don't know if you guys remember like a memory of being in middle school or high school and you have to, you're on your period, it's last minute, you don't remember. You're just like, oh crap, I need something. You can't make it to the nurse's office. And then you look at that one thing that sits by the door in the bathroom and you notice that you have to put a quarter to twist it up to get a tampon. Men don't have that. Why do I have to pay 25 cents? Whatever it might cost, 10 cents, whatever. Mm-hmm. Actually, I noticed that a lot of those end up broken because women, I see them in the bathroom and it's broken because
I've never used one
it's like a revolution. But yeah, I've used it once before. And the tampon is a cardboard tampon. It's the nastiest of the nastiest tampons you can offer a woman.
I mean, but it's 25 cents.
It is 25 cents, but the fact that I have to pay for something that's not even worth it, like, it makes me angry. And women have to do this all over the world. And let's not even talk about homeless women.
Yeah.
And people who can't even afford it, or people in third world countries who have to skip on school to bleed. At that point, it's like people have to use toilet paper, cloth, rags, because they can't afford it. And some women have to choose between food or a tampon or being a woman. You shouldn't have to choose between a need and another need. It's absurd to me. And I don't know about the rest of the world, but a few countries are getting on the wave of removing that tax. But America and 40 other states in America are still charging us a tampon tax. They're still charging us a tax like it's a luxury and it's more of a need. So today we're just going to touch on, what's grinding my gears and give you guys ideas on how to help us combat this battle and at least bring it to the surface, at least make you aware. So if we can each one teach one today, I'll feel accomplished that somebody today found out what a tampon tax is. And if you're a woman, you definitely need to know what a tampon tax is. You need to be just as mad. There are men out there who are not doing anything else but wiping their butt free of charge. Wiping their butt free. Can you believe their toilet paper is free? Your toilet paper is free, but guess one thing that only women use that others don't? The tampon, which makes, and other feminine hygiene product, which makes it feel like the world is basically like it's your problem and your problem alone. Meanwhile, I thought that, we're supposed to care about each other. The world is a mess right now, but the least we can do is at least let people bleed. It already hurts enough I shouldn't have to pay to be
to
in pain.
bleed tax-free.
I want to bleed tax-free. Hashtag bleed tax-free. Like, and then there are, of course, if you're keeping up with the news, there are people who protest this all the time. They do the free bleeding protest and all that good stuff. And it's like, it brings awareness, but people still don't know. People are like, what are they even complaining about? Why is she walking around with, a bloody pair of pants? Because without the necessity of feminine hygiene product, some people have to live like that. Some people don't want to live like that. So they end up skipping out on important things in their life, like education, and sitting at home to bleed. Because what can you do?
Right.
You're going to be chastised for it if you walk around with blood in your underwear or pants. If you even have a stain. I know that's everybody's worst fear. Women don't wear white if you're on your period. Yeah. Because it's like an unspoken rule. If you wear white, you're brave. Like, kudos to you because you got it, girl. I cannot. If I have to wear
at the end of my period.
Towards the end, when you have like the drip, then it's like, okay, I can. But in the beginning of the period, when it's like heavy, those first 3 days, you will not catch me slipping, wearing white or anything that's even remotely not black because I'm not risking it. So with that being said, let's get to our main facts. So I'll let Doyin take.
We have to introduce ourselves first.
Right.
First of all, I was waiting for you to stop being mad. But this girl over here is like, okay, I'm not gonna stop being mad until the end of the episode. And it's like, okay, girl.
I was so angry. I'm like,
I understand, and I'm all ears. And I mean, that's the point of the show. We want to tell them what our problems are, but we should probably tell them who we are, what we're doing, how often they can expect to hear our problems, etc., etc.
My name is Sandra,
and I'm Doyin,
and yes, we're both Nigerian women, and
young adults. We're adulting.
We're adulting, and we're struggling, praying because. Man, if I had known adulting was going to be like this, I would have won that. You wouldn't have done it, right? I wouldn't have done it. It was a lie. It was all a lie. But yeah, so this podcast is really just topics like what we just spoke about every week. We're going to post something around Sunday, so it's ready for you on Monday. That way you get to hear the new rant of the day. And I'm sure a lot of you, if not all of you, should be able to relate to at least one of these rants because it's very personal, public, emotional, very political, and just, it's all over the place, but it's everything that that you've probably thought about and just, shook of your shoulder because you don't want to stress out
and
about it.
And some things people have probably not thought about. I'll be honest. Like, that's why I asked you in the beginning when you were ranting, is this for guys or for everyone? Because I didn't know crap about this before we started, this episode, before we decided that we were going to talk about this. I didn't know anything about it. I had never really contemplated about it. I've seen articles about women saying these items should be free, but you know me, I'm just like, well, it ain't happening tomorrow, so let me just go about my day.
And that's pretty much what everybody else thinks.
But it's eye-opening, so on this podcast, you can expect us to like drop some gems, some facts about some things that are going on in the world and things that you should be angry about too. And maybe even if you're not angry, maybe you can support the people around you that are angry about it the way I'm going to be supporting Sandra over here.
And just be aware. I just want you guys to be aware because, just living your life and not knowing these things that you really could learn about. I feel like, it's essential to learn these things. And even if you're not going to do anything with it, at least be aware. I know one day the flame will ignite within you and, and you're going to want to fight as hard. And, but right now, because a lot of us don't really have much to offer in terms of, maybe a protest, I can't start a nonprofit right now and start saying.
We'll tell people how they can get involved at the end of the episode. But for now, the easiest thing you can do is just listen to this podcast, become more aware about it, and have these discussions with people around you.
Yep.
So before we really jump into a discussion, should we kind of like break it down for people? Because earlier you said something about a tampon tax. Not everybody knows what exactly that falls under. Is there really a category on my receipt that's going to say tampon tax?
No, it's not. It's just the fact that there are actually items. I guess you could call them luxury goods and just a lot of things that fall under this category. And a good amount of them are not being taxed, like erectile dysfunction drugs, specifically for men.
Yeah.
Like we cause that, Yeah. That's not our problem now, is it? But y'all not being taxed for that. So you don't have to worry about that because you just go to the store, you buy it, and bam, it's done. And there are other things, too, that are tax-free. And for some reason,
tampons don't fall under that.
They don't fall under that.
So
why are women being subjected to these taxes?
Things like medical products, health products, I don't remember what else was on the list. Those things don't get taxed. And you would think that
because it's essential,
a tampon or sanitary
essential.
pads or like cups or whatever, you would think those things would fall under
PG
medical
because
and health.
I don't want to use non-PG rating, or is this PG? I don't even know.
It's whatever we rate.
You're right. Anyway.
This is PG. This is PG. We haven't said anything.
I mean,
all children.
Kids be doing whatever they want anyway. So if you listen to this podcast, if you stumble across this podcast, it's not our fault. So
all right. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's PG or not. Let's have the conversation and then we'll post it with the appropriate rating.
Anyway, a limp dick, that's what I was trying to say, is not my problem. If you happen to have erectile dysfunction and you have a limp dick and you have to go figure it out, sounds like a personal problem to me. But guess what? You're not being taxed for it. And I'm bleeding. Sounds like a personal problem for me. But guess who's being taxed? Me and her. And every other woman or anyone who identifies as a woman who doesn't identify as a woman who still bleeds. We are all still paying for, as long as blood is coming out of your vagina or anywhere else that, you know, is related to your reproductive organ, then you probably are going to be paying this tax. Mm-hmm. And if you can't afford it, even worse. Because what are you going to do? You know?
So then my question to you is that do you think that us having to pay this so-called tampon tax is a result of like our leadership, the kind of leadership
patriarchy,
that we have, the kind of community or we fall into like a capitalistic society?
Yep,
is
all
it
of
both?
A capitalistic,
or did they just
patriarchal
overlook
society? They definitely overlook it because it's not a priority. Like, I just still don't understand how erectile dysfunction is a priority.
But we're talking about tampons. Let's stop talking about erectile dysfunction. It's hard for me to I know you can't. Like, she can't stop talking about it. You need to stop talking about it. We don't care. Like, I'm just we don't care about the limp dicks today. Not today. We'll have that conversation.
The
later.
next topic.
What we're talking about today is the tampon tax, and why you think that's what's going on today for us in our society, and why we have to pay taxes on tampons,
right?
And why feminine hygiene products can't be free.
And to be honest, the only explanation I can give to that is that we live in a capitalist and a patriarchal society. A society that's ruled by decisions made by men, and capitalist in terms of everybody wants to make money off of something. Every single person wants to make money off of something. So that combined adds up to women being left in the, on the side. Because at the end of the day, who's going to care about something that's only personal for women when everybody's trying to make money off of women and everything else? Like,
what blows my mind is like, I would have initially have just said, maybe it's just an oversight and it's not something that they thought to do, like place it under health and beauty and medical or whatever. But then the thing that blows my mind is like, if it was an oversight and now people have talked about it, why can't they just stop taxing it at the very least?
Just stop.
Because at the end of the day, we do live in a capitalistic society. And if we were to say like tampons are going to be free, like you said, we would be getting like the really poor quality tampons. Because if you've ever used anything for free from the government and you know that there's only specific categories and it's like food stamps, like you can only get this kind of tampon. So I don't necessarily feel like it got to be free, but like since we know that y'all are taxing us and Viagra is not taxed, why can't y'all just take the tampon tax away? That's my big question, and that does make me feel like, do I not matter in society? Do I not contribute enough to the society? And when you think about it, there is a lot of information out there that might point to the fact that this has to do with us living in a capitalistic society. Did you know that the tampon / women care industry is a $5.9 billion? I didn't say million. I said $1 billion industry. If they subtracted tampon only in the United States. It would probably make a dent in America. So maybe that's why they don't want to take the tax off. Maybe that's why they want to keep having us pay for tampons, because they need the money. Puts something on people's table. Yeah. And then on that same note, I have a question for you, because moving on from, they didn't think tampons were important. Now that the women healthcare industry is now starting to be led by women. There's a lot of things coming out that are made for women by women, and we're paying for those things. Right. I mean, do you not think that if we start getting things for free and they start taxing us, et cetera, or they stop taxing us, et cetera, right, those women's their businesses would crash or would be hurt by it, don't you think?
I support Honey Pot.
Yeah, I support Honey Pot too.
We're not sponsored by them, but we support
What are your thoughts on it? Like, Is it worth it? If we're gonna go full on fighting and say, you know what, we want free products, we don't want to be taxed, blah blah blah. What about the women that are out here really like making up businesses, to support us?
That's the difficult part. Somebody's gonna have to take an L on this. Now, I'm not saying that
I don't think the next person to take an L should have to be a woman.
It shouldn't have to be a woman. It shouldn't. But the thing is, we're still most like the fact that we're still getting charged taxes mean we're far away from it being free. Yeah. It's not, I don't see it being free ever. So these people will still make their money. They'll still have their businesses. Yeah. It's just they can't tax off of it. And if anything, it should make it, I feel like there's some situations where it's like the government will tax and then some companies will actually increase the price to make up for the tax so they don't lose money. Yeah. So they don't have to take it out of their pocket. You're paying the tax. That's why there's tax. You're adding extra money onto it. So if we're already adding the extra money in terms of tax, then they shouldn't worry about their profit. They're going to get their profit regardless. They just won't have to pay. They might have to pay a tax as a business because it's business.
You always have to pay a tax.
Exactly. So that's, unless they take that out. I don't say capitalist America, not here. But like, they don't have to worry about that in terms of us paying. We're the ones paying.
Well, what if the government taxes them harder?
Now, I don't know how that's going to work.
Since the government is not collecting tax
America's
from us
mad petty, so I can see that happening.
So what if the government then starts to tax those women harder that have created these innovative products for us to use?
I mean, at that point, it'll just be something we'll have to just deal with when we get there, because I can't speak for what's going to happen in the future of what the government is going to do. And I feel like there's probably going to be some type of war against
My question to you is that, is there value added? Like, is this fight worth it if it means that women who have come up with these innovative, cutting edge technology and ideas are going to suffer for it?
Yes.
Should we still keep fighting to get free stuff?
Only because I believe in utility when it comes to just having everything available for you. I believe that the people who need it need to get it. America has so many homeless people. We just ignore it. You watching National Geographic, you're worried on the children hungry in Africa. Look next to your neighbor. Yeah. Look at the back of your house. Look in your alleyway. Look down in somewhere in the city under the bridge somewhere. There's people everywhere.
You probably don't got to go far.
And you don't have to go far. It's literally down the street. There's somebody at home next to you who can barely keep their house, who's maybe at foreclosure, who can barely keep food on the table, who can't afford luxury tax or tampon tax on feminine hygiene, something that's necessary. So I feel like it's a fight that's worth fighting, and whatever changes occur is necessary, because there are 2/3 of women that are poor, cannot afford to purchase luxury. And you literally have to choose between a food meal and pads.
A figure? Like, do you know approximately how much women spend monthly, yearly?
Oh, I don't know if I have that number.
From what I pulled up, it said that one website said that women should expect to spend around $144 a year. That was like just the one figure they gave.
And that's for like the lowest, because they have
probably that's probably levels. That cardboard tampon that you got.
Because they got levels to it. You want some Tampax Pearl? Yeah. Oh no.
Another one said to expect to spend between $150 and $300 a year on feminine hygiene products.
All together.
So now we're talking about people that are homeless. Mm-hmm. They don't have a roof under their head. They don't know where they're going to stay next. They don't know what they're going to eat next.
They don't know the future.
And you expect them to pay up to $300 this year to figure out their period?
Where? Where don't we get it at? Where?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm asking Trump, where? Tell us, oh God, president.
and over the course of a woman's life span, she's gonna have at least 456 periods over the span of like 38 years.
I don't want to think about that.
So this is a long-term thing. Like, this isn't something that
when my period started, I asked my mom, when will it end?
Right. And it's like, people that are listening to me might be like, okay, shut up. Is it just your period today? Just shut up. Like, no, it might not. It might be my period today, but next month, guess what? I'm gonna get it again. And guess what?
And
the month after that, I'm gonna get it again.
Okay, there are solutions. People are gonna be like, well, why don't you just get birth control? Birth control is not free.
It's
first of all,
and not everybody got insurance.
Niggas don't got insurance. Yeah. So who gonna pay for the birth control?
That's crazy.
You got my birth control money? Do you have birth control money? You have birth control funds?
Right, and like birth control, because Dolapo brought it up. He's behind the camera now, but like before we started filming, he brought this up. He's like, "Well, birth control has side effects." Yes. There's a lot of us who choose not to use birth control
unless necessary
because it has side effects. So I can't.
They got male birth control now, so I don't want to hear y'all say nothing. You took your pill today? You took your pill today?
This is a different topic, Sandra. Like, we're gonna have to get really.
I got a lot of problems. Okay, I got a lot of problems.
Clearly, you got a lot of problems. But let's stick to this problem today. Okay, let's stick to one problem today. But it's just like, it has side effects. There's a lot of women that's not going to wake up and just say, I'm going to just take birth control and not get my period anymore. And that way I don't have to buy feminine hygiene products anymore.
Some women are afraid of the weight gain that comes with birth control. It doesn't always happen, but I've had too many friends literally blow up after taking birth control. And when I ask them, damn girl, what happened? They'd be like, it was that birth control, fam. Like, it's bad. And I'd just be like, birth control did that? Yeah. Because there's so many unspoken things that go into these pills that you don't really think about. You're just thinking, I just want this period to end. So you take the pill, and then all the other side effects that come along with it, well, now you're stuck, sis.
And now then, like, when you think about, like, all the items that you gotta, like, put together and buy, because, like, we're talking about feminine hygiene product, but we're not talking about the fact that you get cramps, and then you have to go buy Midol or Tylenol or Advil.
I take ibuprofen 800 milligrams,
or, you know,
prescribed. 800 milligrams.
Exactly. Or you have to pay for that prescription too, right?
I do. It's not free.
If you have insurance, you still pay something. So it's like,
I pay my copay.
We're talking about just the cost of the product, and we're not even talking about all the other things that go into it, like the medication or whatever other comfort.
And sometimes the time off of work, that's money that you're not making. Some people have really bad period episodes where you're throwing up, your back hurts, your headache, your boobs hurt, you are just bedridden, and you have to skip work for 1 to 2 days.
Like,
that's
women
money.
are gonna have to deal with this for
forever.
At least like 33 to 38 years of their life.
Unless you have amenorrhea, which is just the inability to have a period, which is related to just different, diagnoses and problems. But if you're not having a period, that's still a problem. Yeah. If doctors are like, wait, you haven't had a period
So I guess our take home is we have to have a period. So...
Especially if you want kids.
Why on earth are you taxing us for this crap? Like
it's a necessity.
We can't stop it from happening. And even if we could, like that's a whole nother decision in its own. So it's like, why are we still having this discussion? Make it free, make it tax free, do something.
We're not even saying like,
hear us out.
Oh, we just want to like pay $0 because I know America not with that. They just not. It's too capitalist.
And I'm all for women making money, so that's my other thing too.
I support.
I'm not saying it got to be $0.
Small businesses, big businesses.
I'm willing to pay for the products, but the fact that I'm just now learning that we're being taxed on this, and then certain items
other things are not.
You're just not being taxed on. I don't think you have to have Viagra. I mean, sex. You don't gotta have sex.
You don't. If you have a limp dick, just deal with it. That's your life now.
You don't have to have sex.
That's your life now.
You have to have a period. So. With that being said, let's wrap up our rant and just maybe talk to people about what kind of products are on the market that they can use to be a little bit more cost efficient with their budget.
And based on our experience, what we've used so far. Okay, so the items that we found, I mean, you probably know about these items that are available. Yeah. You probably use them yourself. But the items that are known for sure on the market, and you can find them online, in stores, and pretty much anywhere where, even the gas station, I think everywhere pretty much carries it. So you can find tampons. I can't speak for what type of tampon. Pads and diva cups. Period panties, which if you're not familiar with that is, it's just underwear, regular underwear with like a thicker layer, so you can actually
it absorbs.
Now, I've had friends who've used them, and they've just been like, the absorbance was not, because when I think underwear, I think thin.
Yeah, everyone has different flows.
And I think, what was the other one they had? And then thin something. It was another brand that was like really advertising on like Pinterest or whatever that kept talking about how thin their underwear is, but then how like thick it absorbs. And I'm like, I don't see thin and absorbance just don't go together. But if you're into period panties and you just want to do a one-stop
everybody
shop,
has different flows too.
They do.
What might work for one woman won't work for another.
If you're
woman,
like on a pill, your period is probably less and thinner, so it might work for you. There's a Ziggy cup, which if you guys have ever seen those things that kind of fold, and you fold it and then you put it in, and then you pull it out with your index and you just kind of pop it out. It's I forgot the name of it, but they call it a Ziggy cup. There are different types. And it's supposed to last up to 12 hours. I've never tried it because I just don't see myself pulling something out and pouring the blood out and then rinsing it. I am not on that level yet. Catch me in like 5 years. And a cloth pad, which is something I personally use and I still use because I realize I'm going to be taxed. I might as well save money because at this point, I don't have a choice. Yeah. So I use a cloth pad, which is made of charcoal, charcoal and whatchamacallit? I forgot the name. It's a liner. It's really thick and it's the sides are thicker so you don't have like a spillage, and it actually clips under like a pad, like it has a little clipper, like the clip on your shirt or outfit, whatever, and then you put it on your underwear and you just let it go all day. It lasts about 8 hours and you don't have to remove it, and if you ever feel like dirty or whatever, you can wipe the surface and it absorbs and it doesn't go anywhere. I am living proof. Like, I love this thing, and I bought like 6 of it, one for every day of the week, and then of course I'll buy like tampons, like fill in the space of whatever. But those are things that I've used, then I've learned that have worked. Tampons are good too, but also be careful with tampons. Please go for organic tampons.
Toxic shock syndrome.
Yeah. And organic tampons, I think, I forgot the name of the tampon, the one that was recalled like a year before.
I'm just laughing because I'm in my mind. I'm having little conspiracy theory things going on in my mind.
Oh, there.
With the whole toxic shock syndrome. It's like, how come it's only feminine products?
Yeah.
And how come me just
we're the ones
something
we got all the
my body
problems.
is just like,
women
what?
just got all the issues.
You know,
we have to pay for it, and we also have to make sure that we don't
We're not
die
ranting
while
anymore.
using it.
We're not angry anymore. We're talking about solutions now.
Okay. So yeah, beware of toxic shock syndrome, guys. Do not wear do not wear it for more than 6 hours. Make sure you take that shit out and replace it. It's not that serious. Do not die, y'all. Do not die over this shit. And then another thing you have to remember is try to aim for organic tampons, because the tampon strings tend to be coated and bleached for major products. If it doesn't say organic, it's most likely a bleached string, which is how they get them to be so white. When it's bleached, it can actually irritate your vulva, which is the outside of your vagina, which then causes irritation in terms of swelling and other things and bumps. And I've experienced it before, and I was like, what in the world is going on here? And I was like, no more tampons ever. But I realized it was just that brand. It was just that specific brand that happened to have bleached, over bleached, whatever. And find out 3 months later, they were recalling that because everybody was having the same issue. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm not the only one here. And it's all women. Because you're not going to hear a man talking about, I had an issue with a tampon. So it's all women who are dealing with this issue who have to now deal with the outcome of having to pay for something that they trusted, and then,
I know some other female feminine hygiene brands have made organic products, because like you literally don't know what they do with the tampons and the pads.
Have to trust it.
Just have it on the shelves for us to use, and like find out they're bleaching it and putting all these other chemicals in it.
Yep. So it kind of sucks, but I mean, if you're going to choose, just try to choose healthy and right to make sure that you're not a victim of.
So what about for the listener that says, Sandra, great idea. You've talked about all these things, but I don't think I can afford a menstrual cup or a cloth pad. I can't. I'm not balling like you. I can't just get 6, one for every day of the week. What's good, Sandra?
Look.
What's good?
Hit me up. I'm going to send you one real quick. I'm going to send you a sample, But there are actually a lot of resources. I can't list them all here because, there's so many all over the internet. If you type on Google right now and just search nonprofit or something that's just, free, there's always people. I found one actually specific for Florida. I believe it's called Renewing Dignity. And they're like a nonprofit that provide pads and, feminine hygiene to women in the Jacksonville, Florida area. So if you're listening to this and you're from Florida, look for Renewing Dignity because that's specific for your area. And then there are other ones as well. We're probably going to put it in the show notes. So if you want to find out more, just click in the descriptions. There are probably going to be a few links there of just like where to find your resources in order to get the free tampons and other products.
And if you are balling like Sandra and you're like, you know what, I'm listening to this and I'm concerned and I want to help somebody out there. Some things that you can do is to like try and donate to a food bank, a homeless shelter. You can create your own program and collect these resources if your friends have unopened boxes of
people used to do it on my old job. They would just be like, guys, if you have empty pads or whatever you don't use, or if you're on birth control and you don't need it anymore, if you just buy stuff and just bring it to work. And I have had coworkers who just have a bucket by the door for like a week and just collect a bunch of stuff. And at the end of that week, they take it and they just give it away for free. It is an item
that you can give out. Like when you're going and you're saying, what's my good thing that I'm doing this year?
You can afford to buy one for yourself. You can afford to buy another for someone else. Not saying you should spend every day of your life buying 2 just because you want to give it out. But if you do have extras, it doesn't hurt to give it to somebody who needs some. Because people always, women on the streets, what are you supposed to do? Like, what choice? I try not to even think about it because I'm like, what would I do if I was homeless and I needed a pad?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Because, like, one of the things that we found out while doing this research is that for people that can't afford to get tampons or pads or whatever it may be, they have to resort to other things like using that free toilet paper we talked about or the free paper towel that we talked about if they let them into the club in DC. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might not even let them in there. Or
you're right, because based on what you look like or anything else. Because you got to there's a dress code.
A lot of them just have to use rags or go, do the free bleeding thing.
I've been in the shoe of not remembering and having to stuff my underwear with tissue before.
I have. I think almost
like,
every
women, like, you can
been
testify to just, crap, I got to stuff this and just make it home today.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy what women have to deal with. And
nobody can relate. If you're not a woman, you just cannot relate. And if you say you can relate, I need you to explain how. I need to know. Because if you're not been in our shoes, you just cannot say what we are experiencing. We can only tell you and hope you can understand. But it's just ridiculous at this point. And we just gotta catch a break somewhere.
Is one of the solutions, sorry to interrupt, is one of your solutions potentially that you need more females in positions of power that can allow legislation that you want to go through?
Yes, but I can also say, like, you know how, like, all skin folk and kin folk, like, you can't expect them to just be a woman and then do what you expect them to do. Being a woman doesn't make you fighting, you know, a fighter for women's rights. It just makes you somebody else in power. Yeah. Let's just hope that the women who do rise up to power can do that.
I think it's both. It's that people in power should drive those legislations and make it happen. But within our community, we have to have these conversations because how can they drive something that they don't know is an issue for us? Because before I did this episode, I literally didn't know that this was an issue for us. And if we're not having this conversation, there's a million people out there that don't know that this is an issue for us. Right. They're just thinking, man, how did I manage my money this month? I sure can't afford this pads, but I have to buy them.
I really have thought about that sometimes. I'm like, damn, this $7.99. Oh, damn. Like,
$7.99 is not that bad. Like, I think I went to, I feel like with everything going on, like all the prices are high. I went to Giant the other day and I'm just like, let me just pick this up because I don't know the next time I can go to a store. And I spent like, I bought like a pack of pads for freaking like $9 or $11. Dang. I don't remember how much it was. And I remember being like, is this how much I usually pay? Like, how did I manage my money? Like, can I afford to keep having my period?
Think about, you know, a pad on the side. Like, dang, I got to separate this cost in my head and be like, oof, dang.
When you go to the store with $20 and you're like, yeah, I got $20 to spend, and you're like, oh, I need pads, and then you spend 10,
and that's it.
And then you're
now
like,
you got half of it
now
left.
I have $10
what you gonna
to
buy?
spend.
A sandwich, bread, and turkey? Like, what you gonna eat this week?
But the good news is, like, there's other places in the world that are already driving the legislation forward and that have already passed
10
laws.
states, y'all. 10 states plus Washington, D.C. have.
So we have 10 within the United States, but I know in Scotland, they now have free sanitary products.
And
so
I think Australia, too, also now has cleared that out. Yeah. And it's just amazing.
If we keep pushing, it's amazing what we can get done.
And the most recent state is Nevada in America. So shout out to you guys, wherever you're at, for making that step to ensure women can afford or at least try to move in the right direction. I don't know.
Free or it's reduced?
Oh, it's not free. The There's no tax on it.
You ain't
it's free in Scotland. It's free in other countries outside of the United States.
Is it
Some
Germany?
Select countries. I don't think Germany, they took away the luxury tax. The tax that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But within the United States, there's only 10 states that have taken away the taxes. So
let me see. It says Florida, Illinois, New York as well. They've taken out the taxes. Australia has lifted its 10% tax on the product, so it's not free.
It's not free.
In the summer, Malaysia and India also lifted their taxes as well. So
the only place I saw that was free straight up was Scotland.
Man, I guess we gotta move to Scotland.
Free in Scotland.
We gotta move to Scotland.
Can't promise you about the quality.
Are there blacks in Scotland?
I don't know.
Do they like us there?
There's black people in Scotland.
But do they like us though? Do they like us? Are we just taking up space?
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Make sure you tune in every Monday. This podcast will be streaming on all platforms wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, please. We have so many more problems to discuss, and this is just not the last of it. There's just, man, I got problems. That's all I can say. Like, I got
99 problems, but a tampon ain't one.
But it is one. We got 100 problems. We got 100 problems because the tampon is one. I can't. We have 100 problems, y'all. We ain't taking nothing out. Man, Jay-Z can go sit down.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a Benz.